You are spending a lot of money on bursaries that are not yours, instead of building toilets and classrooms for your ECD classes. So you cannot have that as an excuse. That is an excuse we don't, and we support the comptroller of budget not to approve a single cent for bursaries until governors do the right thing. So please don't take us to churches again. Get out of churches and build the classrooms. The other illegal thing that is going on in Bomet, which must be stopped, is the idea of building one PP1 and not building PP2. You must have PP2. It would have been better for you to tell us that I'm doing with these 2 million, I'm building one permanent building and one structure of 50,000 shillings for PP2. But you must have the two classes. Otherwise, you are absconding from your own duty, and you are doing things that are not, and you are not doing the right thing on what has been given to you. It's better to have structures that are not permanent. The more rural you are, have structures that are not permanent to begin with, but we must see PP1 and PP2. Of course, we are coming to Bomet.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see and appreciate what we've been able. But we have to be realistic and also be fair to us as governors, because if unfair demands are given to us, because if I have to construct 1,200 classrooms times 2, I require 2.4 billion to 3 billion. That is 50% of my budget, which is unrealistic. That's why I'm saying we have to appreciate what we've been able to do and the challenges also that we have. I was just responding to my sister senator that with Lightrend, if we've been able to construct, that is the best that we can do at the moment. As Chair is proposing, we can even have a structure of 50,000. I will not have a problem with that. But at the same time, I will also be asking myself as a teacher, will it be a safe structure? Because that will be a party all-round structure. Will it be safe for these learners? And that's why we have to be realistic. We have a challenge, and I expect you as the Senate to assist us. Probably we now think beyond the resources that we have. How can we fund so that we move faster? Because if I have 50 classrooms by financial year, how long will it take me to construct 800 classrooms? That is still, it will take me several years. And that's why it is my problem, it is our problem, it is the problem of our country that we need to sort out. And that's why, apart from clarifying issues, there are things also that we need to pick and see how you can assist me as the governor of Bomet so that I can move faster.
Thank you, Governor. I hope you are taking note of what we are saying so that we are not going in circles. Yeah, we have given you very good suggestions. Tell us there is an expenditure called ancillary education support. You budgeted 15 million in the year 2022, 2023, and spent 11 million. What was it? What was that expenditure?
Let me ask my CC to respond to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair.
Chair, they also need to respond to the other questions that I asked.
Yeah. I want that to take that one in relation to, is this just a classroom? This 2 million structure, is it just a normal standard classroom, or you have play areas, do you have equipment, do you have?
Okay.
So maybe before she responds to that, I can respond to this one because it may not be actually under education. Statutory deductions are normally done centrally. All our employees and the budget is within the Department of Administration. So teachers, governor, everybody, health workers are paid through one budget that we have within the Department of Administration.
But you have remitted, Bomet has remitted all statutory.
We have remitted.
So you are up to date, eh?
We are up to date.
Kindly share with us.
Madam Chair, sorry, the information I have, because this is important, I'm a friend to the committee, and it will be very wrong for me to keep quiet when certain information might need clarification by submission of relevant proof documents. Because what I have is that the county government stopped remittances of pension after the implementation of the increment to comply with the SRC directive. The pension is what is paid to reflect as if it is a salary increment for the ECDE teachers. To discount this statement, I will be asking Madam Chair to direct that the governor give us, whether it's from the Department of Administration, information in form of evidence as to the remittances of these ECD teachers, notwithstanding the fact that it's being handled by a different department.
Thank you, Senator. I think that's what Senator Moma wanted. He wanted the list to come to the committee.
Yeah, and I can confirm to you, Chair, that we have done that.
Yeah.
And I don't want rumors to be brought to this committee. And that's what
You are not the chair of the committee, eh?
They are the ones
Yes.
to
You are
verify.
not the chair of the committee.
Yes.
You can only take what I give you, but you don't.
To supply you with that
I will
information.
tell you when there is rumor and when there is truth. But I've told you that let's get that data and let's get the information. Yep. So what is auxiliary? What is this auxiliary education support and what is this cost of 2 million going for?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. For the cost of the 2 million, what Senator Moma has just asked, we have said the 2 million is actually meant for the construction. So far, we have not provided the playing items that are meant for the learners.
Oh, yeah, financial year, I was looking for this 2024-2025. We have also a description of what we budgeted for in each and every sector. And the total amount that we have budgeted for the ECDs and the VTCs and other areas within the sector of education, total amount is 479,237,070. So those are three
Governor,
financial
the
yes.
budgetary allocation of 2024-2025, you've changed the format. Is it the format that has changed or what is that?
Yeah, the percentage.
Yeah.
We have not indicated the expenditure because it is still running.
So what is 479?
Total amount that is budgeted. Yeah.
That is the budget, not expenditure.
Yes, that's not expenditure.
Okay, and your allocation, you know, when you change the format, then we have to change our brain formatting. Because in the previous format, it was very easy. You calculated the allocated amount, the actual expenditure. Actually, you would have even shown us to date the expenditure if you follow the same format. Because you know already whether you have done any construction of a new ECDE or not. But never mind, this is the document that we have. So what you have, no, okay, members will see whether they can have a clear understanding of that one. Because ECD, we are also looking for, in that financial year, what have you allocated to ECDE? Is that the 164, 622? Yeah,
114.
114.
Yes.
And then, are you still carrying out this mobilization issue? I'm trying to follow mobilization bursaries. What did you give for bursaries in that year?
One bursaries and 105
Where is that?
is use of goods and services.
What you are calling goods and services include bursaries. So bursaries, support for ECD, VTCs is
25 million for bursaries, also for VTCs.
That is your budget.
Yeah.
I'm asking you because using the old format, we will do the tracking so that we understand exactly where the money went to. So, There are other items that are not clear to us. Are these items under education, water and sewerage? Travel costs, is that under education?
Yes, each and every department has almost a component of each of those.
So these items belong to the Department of Education?
Yes.
All those travel and whatever, general office supplies, all those. Okay. And then use of goods and services, you have identified a few areas. A review of policies, a review of bills, staff training. Okay. Okay, let's go to question 3. I hope members have noted.
Madam Chair, there's something I've picked.
Yeah.
If you look at where we have 100% absorption, and I'm looking at planning and general administrative, from the previous year, and I need to be corrected, you have spent, the previous year you have spent 96. Yes, 96. Then you're budgeting for 198. If I'm reading exactly what approved estimates, you have written 198. It's 198, but from what you have 22-23, it was policy, planning and general administrative, it was 96, 100% absorption.
Yeah, you can note that. I want you to come and go through the questions, so that you refer to all of them. Let's go to the next one, question 3. Let's go to question 3.
Thank you, Chair. Can I read?
Yeah, that's the details of all ECD teachers employed in your county, indicating their respective cadres, teacher terms of employment, salaries, and remuneration, and distribution per sub-county. I don't know whether we have that. Okay. I've seen what? An annex? You send an annex to your documents? Members, do members have the annex? Annex 1. I think Annex 1 has that. And then anything else you want to comment on question 3? Or everything is in Annex 1?
Yeah, it's in Annex 1. So we have a total number of 1,306. And of course, the learners, 53,166. So when you take the ratio, it's 1:40. Their cadre, terms of employment, salaries, and remuneration is shown in Annex 1.
Okay. Thank you. Question 4, the implementation status of the ECD teacher scheme of service in the county and the indicative cost of its implementation.
Thank you, Chair. The scheme of service used by ECD teachers is as per the SRC circular guidelines, and the county government of Bomet pay ECD teachers as shown below. And I should note at this point that this is still work in progress. We've not been able to reach the minimum that is required, but we are making progress. This year we had an increment of 3,000. In July we'll have another 3,000. I think we'll be almost there in terms of the guidelines that we've been given by SRC.
Okay. So degree holders, you have 30 of them, diploma 713, and certificate 563, and those are the monthly salaries. Okay. Question 5. measures that the county has taken to ensure that the ECD learning environment is adequately resourced with learning and teaching materials, and that ECD teachers are engaged on enforcement contracts with clear terms of service.
Thank you, Chair. All the 1,233 ECD centers in the county are supplied with teaching and learning materials, which includes chalks, manila papers, registers, curriculum designs, charts, masking tapes, felt pens, and others. All the centers in the 5 sub-counties have received teaching and learning materials for this financial year 2024-2025. 248 teachers who are on contract were employed on fixed terms, renewable as their age could not allow them to be employed on permanent and pensionable terms.
Okay. Question 6, the existing budgets and resources available to enhance a stable and sustained financing for TVET and skills development in Bomet County, and the measures put in place to ensure that traditionally disadvantaged groups have equal opportunities and access to TVET and yes.
Thank you, Chair. For vocational training, the budget for VTCs in the current financial year 2024-2025 is a total of 133 million, comprising of the following budget lines. And we have VTC capitation of 60 million. Also known as Subsidized Vocational Training Center Support Grant. We have also proposed the proposed 60 million allocation for capitation to VTCs formerly supported under the national government subsidized Vocational Training Center Support Grant is intended to enhance access to quality vocational education. This funding also plays a crucial role in ensuring that enrollment and retention of trainees, particularly from disadvantaged backgrounds, is ensured. That is by subsidizing the training costs. Previously, under SVTCSG, each trainee received approximately 15,000 annually to support their vocational training. However, following the continuation of the conditional grant in 2022, these funds were integrated into county revenue allocation. In response, the county government of Bomet has consistently provided capitation support to VTCs, leading to a significant increase in enrollment, which rose from 6,371 trainees, to 6,371 trainees by September 2024. Despite this growth, the capitation by trainee has declined to Kenya shillings 9,417 for the financial year 2024-2025 due to the increased number of trainees. The current allocation is 60 million, as I have noted, based on the projected enrollment of 6,000 trainees, allowing for capitation of 10,000 per trainee per year. This is lower than capitation remains a critical source of the funding for VTCs, preventing their collapse and enhancing vulnerable youths to acquire marketable skills. The funds directly benefits all full-time and part-time trainees enrolled in programs recognized by Kenya National Qualification Authority, including the Government Trade Test 3, 2, and 1. We also have CPET programs by CDACC, NVCET, NEC, and City Kites, Each VTC receives funds based on enrollment, which are dispersed directly into the designated capitation accounts. Phase 1 of the capitation of 30 million is already processed and dispersed to all the 33 VTCs accounts. Phase 2, that is the balance of 30 million, is already processed, awaiting release to the respective accounts of VTCs. The funds are earmarked for the following expenditure items. We have repairs and maintenance and improvement of tools and equipments. We have tools, equipment, and infrastructure, as well as examination materials. And then 3, we have textbooks, exercise books, and stationery. It will also be covered by that. 4, we have utilities, that's payment of electricity, water, and other charges like bank charges. And then we have the national examination fees. Number 6, we have skills, competitions, and exhibitions, which we normally organize for these VTCs. In VTCs, this includes construction of classrooms and workshops, sanitation facilities, ICT equipment, acquisition of tools and equipment. Already funds for this financial year have been processed and awaiting disbursement to all the 33 VTCs account. A list of VTCs by sub-county and ward is attached as Annex 2. We have VTC scholarships, bursaries. A total of 25 million has been purchased as bursaries for VTCs to support needy and bright students in the county. These represent an allocation of 1 million per ward. The scholarships are given as full scholarship, that is 12,500,000, and partial bursary of the remaining balance of 12,500,000, and for this financial year. Already disbursement has been done for VTC scholarship bursaries. That has been done. I think that is all I can say about question 6, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. As noted earlier, the total, of course, increased enrollment in VTCs. Total enrollment increased to 6,371 as of September 2024, was due to the introduction of full scholarship and partial scholarships, including 86 trainees with disability, 40 female and 46 female, who have enrolled in this program. So this one is shown in Annex 2. So, which to us, I think, there are a number of learners who are willing to go to these vocational training centers, but because of financial challenges, they cannot enroll. So having this scholarship and bursaries has seen these numbers rising. So probably that is one thing that we should note. 2, supply of school milk to all ECD learners in the county has enabled the county government to fight malnutrition and improve class attendance. And it's good to note here that in terms of standard growth, we are not doing very well as a county. In fact, 5 years schools have been covered, but now I think there is a change in terms of the attitude, in terms of this improvement in the structures that we have, and the environment for learning has improved. And studies also have shown that when you give a young learner a very nice environment, the chances that this child will go all the way with dropping out of school is enhanced. So that is one thing that we are also doing, and we want to go to all the schools. We've not been able to cover all the schools because of the challenges of finances. But over time, I think we'll be able to cover. Supply of teaching and learning materials to all ECD centers has enhanced also learning, as well as provision of furniture to ECD centers in every financial year. And I think it should be noted here that we are sourcing this furniture from our VTCs. So it's also one way of these vocational training centers generating revenue for themselves. So we source from our VTCs. So that is another thing that I think is a lesson, and it's one way in the process they are learning, and in the process they are also generating revenue for themselves. And then sector challenges. Of course, we have been having delays in disbursements. That has been a challenge. And the new education system, CPCs, require a paradigm shift in funding and resourcing to the sector. We have been trying to align ourselves to the new system. In fact, we've been having almost like last week part one, retooling of our ECT teachers, which is done, facilitated by our department. They, of course, have mentioned the untimely disbursements by Exchequer affecting project implementation. And then the emerging issues, of course, one is the the changes in the curriculum, as noted earlier, and then influx of FTC trainees against limited human and financial resources, and that's why even allocation per learner is coming down from 15,000 to around 10,000. And then lessons learned, some of them, of course, the process of government processing of payments, like the IFMIS procedures are lengthy and bureaucratic. That's something that may not be unique to the department, but they need to be addressed. There are opportunities to partner with donors and create cordial relationship with the national government so that we have seamless delivery of service in our education sector, particularly for ECD and VTCs. And then adequate and skilled human resource is key to delivery of services to the public. So generally, that is what we can say, Chair. Maybe in the course of discussion, we'll be able to expand on that question number 7.
Thank you, Governor. I think we will now take comments. We'll allow members to make their comments now. Sorry. We will now allow members to give their comments. The members of the committee, Senator Moma.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. I would like to ask questions and then move on to a meeting I have at COG. But colleagues, kindly note what I ask so that we get clarity on this. My question focuses on the ECD learning. In the response to your question 1, you indicate that ECD school infrastructure, classroom, and pit latrines per center costs 2 million. Is that correct?
Yes.
And for every school, how many classrooms do you build? So that I'm just following up on what I want to ask. How many classrooms do you build per school?
Thank you. This is approximately 2 million, depending on the nature of the soil. It may be slightly less or slightly more, depending.
Yeah, all I want
but
to
it's
know,
only one
classroom.
One classroom
Per.
Yeah, per school.
And that takes how many? I've done my calculation of your 53,166 learners comes to 44 per class. Is that the average number of students you have in a class? And having done so, members, I would want you to take note. I would want the team to tell us how many ECD classrooms Bomet has built from 2022 within 2022 financial year and 2022, 2023, 2023, 2024 financial years. Chair, my count is that they have expended according to their own reports, 100,541,896 million Kenya shillings on the ECD classrooms. If you multiply with your 2 million, it is quite a number of classrooms. So I would want you to verify to this committee before you leave, how many actual classrooms have you built? Having done that, Chair, if you look at on the same budgets, I'm just focusing on the first two. I know 2024, 2025 is ongoing, but I focused on the first two. Madam Chair, Bomet spent a whopping 100 million feeding ECD students. I would want to know what children in Bomet eat, because what we spend on their food is almost equivalent and nearly going over what we spend on infrastructure. That's an interesting issue for us to look at.
This 100 million is for which?
If you look at the second 100 million, okay, I just picked from here. If you look at the details you've given us.
For which financial year?
Let's look at 2022-2023. Construction of ECD classrooms is 57 million, isn't it?
Yes.
You spend 57 million. If you flip over, when you go to the other one, construction was what? 43 million, isn't it?
Yes.
When you add, that comes to how many? Around 100 million, isn't it? And your cost per classroom is 2 million. And you have just told us you build one classroom per facility. Those who do maths, I did maths, it was compulsory during our time, but...
Maybe a clarification, but financially we build a minimum of 50 classrooms, 2 per ward.
I'm just saying, I'm just bringing this to the highlighting of members. Go back there, feeding program, how much is it? Somebody
65.
just take it there. 65 million,
yes.
Fully absorbed.
Yes.
Next year, feeding is how much? 65 million, isn't it?
Yes.
Fully absorbed. And I'm interested in knowing how much, what kind of feeding we give to ECD's students in Bomet, to just know what that is. Madam Chair, the reason I'm inquiring, I think I saw on social media this young man who goes to facilities. And there was one ECD that was shown in Bomet, I think it was Bomet, in extremely deplorable state, flooded on the ground. In fact, I was terrified as to whether kids can actually learn in that environment.
Maybe that was not ECD. Next to it, yeah.
You'll respond. Yes. So, Chair, I wanted us to actually look at that, so that even as we move forward, we need to be able to make sense of what we need. And the other question is, you are currently covering 53,166 ECD learners. Do you have the county statistic on how many ECD learners require facilities, and whether these 53,166 is 50%, is 100% of all learners that require? That is the only way we can tell as the Senate whether the ECD requirement in Bomet is actually fully met or being 100% met, and so on. And then just clarification on use of wording. On the first table, you say other transfers, and you put support to polytechnic. What does support to polytechnic mean? Polytechnic is a county facility, or do you give support to national government TTIs so that it is treated as part of bursaries? Chair, we would need that clarification in order for us to know how to post that money, bearing in mind what you raised earlier, that the county function is actually the VCT and the ECD. The other questions can come a little later.
Maybe so that we don't come back to the number of classrooms. You are saying one classroom per institution.
Yes.
I want you to add also, can you clarify to this committee that in Bomet, we don't have PP1 and PP2? Because one classroom means they are all in one class. We are not following the government system that has PP1 and PP2, or how are you dealing with two classes? Because ECD is now structured by law. So you have that. Let me get another senator to give you. Please write down everything so that you answer when I've heard about 3 senators. Yeah. Senator Kinywa.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. The first question, and I had asked him when he was presenting, when you look at your budgetary allocation and expenditure financial year 2022-2023, in policy, planning and general administrative service, the actual spending was 96,326,180. Absorption was 100%. Then, when I look at estimates for the year 2024-2025, I'm seeing 198 million. I'm just concerned about that kind of jump. Then, kindly provide the breakdown of what is included in 79 shillings per child for running material. Breakdown of what is included. Again, does 1,222 Kenya shillings for food cover for the whole year per child? What is the daily rate and the number of feeding dates? And Madam Chair, there's something I'm trying to read here in their Annex 2. I don't know whether it's by default or by design that the font is so small that it is difficult for me even to ask the question that I wanted to ask because I can't read. My last question is, how much on average do you give for bursary per student on average for these needy students? I'm saying in every ward you have allocated 1 million on average. On average, you might not be specific. On average, how much are you giving per student? Thank you, Madam Chair.
And maybe in addition to that, actually, who are these recipients of your bursaries? Which level are they in? And because you have lumped it so much that it's not possible for us to separate the bursaries and support services. I don't know what support services are, but you have said bursaries and support services. We are keen to know the bursaries and to break down the bursaries to, are they university students? Are you giving to TTI students? Are you giving to VCT students? Who are these who are consuming all 96 million?
And Madam Chair, the last one, sorry for bringing you back.
Yeah.
How did you arrive at 2 million for doing this infrastructure? And what does it include? I heard you talking about soil and stuff, but 2 million for a classroom, or maybe there is blackboard, maybe there are tiles, maybe there is some place to wash your hands or something like that. How do you arrive at that?
Thank you. I'll have Senator Murango, and then you will answer those, then we'll go for the second round.
I hope, Madam Chair, you'll also give me an opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti. Mimi nitarudi katika makadirio ya bajeti ya mwaka 2023 mpaka 2024. That's budget allocation and expenditure financial year 2023-2024. Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, ukiangalia mahali ambapo
On a point of order, Madam Speaker, on use of language.
He has started in Kiswahili, so he will go all the way in Kiswahili.
Because he's using English in
Oh, he has mixed.
yes.
Uh,
He must be
of
consistent.
course, English is clearer to us.
But even Kiswahili is clearer to me, but you must be consistent.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Senator.
Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, nitaendelea kuongea Kiswahili na itakuwa Kiswahili ambayo iko na fasaha. Sasa Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, katika makadirio ya bajeti ambayo ni ya mwaka 2023 2024, ukienda pale mwisho ambayo imepeanwa sababu moja sababu zimepeanwa karibu kila mali ni kwamba mgao wa pesa ambao ulikuwa unatoka kwa hazina ya kitaifa ulichelewa kufika katika gatuzi la Bomet. Lakini sasa Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, tuko katika mwaka wa kifedha wa 2025 26. Swali, hali iko hivi kwa sababu tunajua mwaka wa fedha ushaisha ama imebadilika? Kwa sababu pia pesa ilikuja na alimaliza yale alikuwa anafaa kufanywa. Hiyo ni ya kwanza. Na sorry na maswali kwa sababu ya madarasa ya shule za chekechea ambayo yamejengwa katika gatuzi la kama tungepewa na ratiba inaonyesha kwamba hii shule zimejengwa wapi, madarasa yamejengwa wapi, ili tuweze kufuatilia. Lakini kwa sababu hata tukija tuangalie hesabu, mimi sio mwenyeji wa Bomet, niambiwe tuseme kuna shule imejengwa katika eneo niseme Siribwet, sitajua kama liko ama aliko. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, ni vizuri tu pia gavana tuambie na tuonyeshe madarasa imejengwa wapi, shule kama ni shule ni gani na wadi ni gani, ili tuweze kufuatilia. Asante Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti.
Let's get answers to those ones. And then we'll have a second round where we'll have the chair and Senator Bomet. Yeah. But can you also touch on something so that we don't come back to it? Mobilization and awareness. What is this? And what did you spend on? And I see 6 million. And feeding program is becoming shaky. What was this mobilization and awareness?
So thank you, Chair. I will try to answer that have been asked. Some of them are related. And I will start from, we have mentioned that we are constructing one ECD bus school. And the reason why, of course, we have PP1 and PP2, but because of the challenges of finances, we will not be able to do that immediately to have 2 classrooms per school, because as we are speaking, Chair, there are schools without even a single classroom in some areas. So we wanted at least to be fair to each and every school, have at least 1 classroom, and at least employ at least 1 teacher. Of course, there are schools that have a very big population of young learners, on average in some 60, 70, that will require maybe 2-3 teachers. But because of budgetary constraints, we may not be able to employ 3 teachers at a cost for each and every school that has a higher population, 70, 80, or even 90 learners. So we spend on average 2 million, and we have PQs that have been developed. Maybe just to respond and tie up with what Senator Kenywa has asked, we have a PQ that has been developed, and depending on the soil, it may be less than 2 million or slightly higher. We have just taken an average figure. So we have a very nice classroom. We also provide a tank and areas where the learners can wash their hands and so forth. On average, Chair, we construct around 50 ECD classrooms every financial year. So at least 2 classrooms, ECD structures per ward. We have 25 wards. So 2 times 25 makes 50. That is the minimum that we can do per year. So if you calculate that 50 times 200, that will give you, 2 million, that will give you approximately 100 million budget for every financial year.
Maybe just to interrupt, if I heard him right, the governor, Mr. Governor, you just said that you are constructing 1 classroom per center. Now I hear you say that you are doing 2, because that came from the question from Professor.
Yes.
That, are you accommodating the PP1 and the PP2s in the same place? Because now I think I'm confused.
I think those are 2 different things. I've mentioned we have PP1 and PP2, but what we have been able to cover at the moment is only PP1.
So where are your PP2? Where the PP2?
And that is why we need to partner with the community. They need to do something in the meantime as we sort other schools.
What is the current status? Where are your PP2?
That one is being taken care of by the community. We've not been able to cover that. 1 classroom per school. We have around 700 or 800 primary schools. And then these primary schools also have dispersals. So total number of ECDs that we have is 1,206. So if we were to construct PP1 and PP2, it means we'll have 2,412 classrooms. That one is beyond what we have in our budget. So what we are prioritizing is to have, first of all, 1,206 classrooms, which means...
Now let's go to your other areas of the budget, because
yes,
you have limited yourself to 2 million per classroom per school.
Yes.
Tell us, I want us to cross-compare it with your bursaries. Who are you giving bursaries? Because you are spending exactly the same amount in bursaries. Who are receiving these bursaries?
Chair, the recipient of these bursaries are secondary school students. Of course, at the moment it is on hold. We have not been able to disperse because of the issue that is before us. And I think the Senate is aware of that.
Yes, does it make sense to you that it's on hold?
In fact, I will be very happy if we stop these bursaries.
That's why we are asking you. You are the one who introduced it illegally. Well, it was ready, it didn't exist.
Chair?
You know, you are being stopped from doing something illegal, and I'm very worried that you are not taking care of PP2. Why didn't you tell the parents to take care of their children inside the school instead of destroying what was devolved? Because for us, we are evaluating you against what was devolved. Now you have left what was devolved to parents, and then you are doing something that doesn't belong to you.
Chair, I appreciate what you are saying. You're also a politician, and the way we are looking at it, this is social support.
Thank you.
And once it has been...
You have answered already.
Yes.
A politician. We are politicians, and this is what we are coming to COB, your Council of Governors meeting, to say we support stopping. We don't want this. Because if you play politics, because it is more popular to take care of bursary than to take care of PP1, PP2. I mean, it is so embarrassing that we now have only PP1 and we are saying PP2, God help you and your parents. We cannot do that.
We will be very happy if you can support us as governors to stop that, because...
We have already stopped it.
We are very
By
happy
the way,
and we
the
appreciate.
contribution, the stopping by the Auditor
Controller.
General came from this committee because we grilled the Auditor General why he's allowing governors to do illegal things. And we are saying maybe the only thing we can do is to surcharge the governors. It might stop it better.
Personally.
Yeah, personally, because they're doing illegal things.
Chair, I think I want to still pursue to know exactly then what construction is still going on. Can we know exactly how many you've done and how many are remaining to be done?
The total number, I think we have done almost so that's close to 400, 500. How many total? How many classrooms? Yeah? 400 classrooms have been constructed out of, if we were to have one out of 1,206.
Chair, I think I would also request that can we have the names of those schools actually and the budgets, whatever has been finished or whatever is going on, so that by the time we visit Bomet, we'll be able to have the full.
Yeah, we'll give you the list.
Yes.
Yeah, even today we can submit the
Give
list.
us the list, and
Yes.
then can you then comment on why you have a pending list and the construction of classrooms? Because even the 75 million you gave in 2022-2023, you consumed only 57 million, and you have a pending bill, while you are 100% absorption in bursaries, the political one.
Bursaries is one of disbursement, so it can be a challenge. Construction of a classroom takes time. And sometimes some of our contractors are very slow, or sometimes because of weather, like in March, April, even supplying material to some of the areas can be a challenge. So if it gets to June, when you are completing, then processing for payments will cross over to the next financial year. And that's why we have some of those pending bills. Where construction is involved. So that is why we have 100, because bursaries is one of, you can pass today, tomorrow you disperse 100%. But when it comes to construction, it takes time because of logistical issues and other factors.
We hope you have that environment of the money you were blocked from spending, and you have moved it to construction.
Of course, once it crosses over, it can still be repatriated.
I'm saying the current budget, which was blocked by the comptroller of budget, that you don't pay bursaries. Have you already done environment to move it to the other sectors in education?
Of course, that needs to be corrected through supplementary, and that is what we are doing because we have not dispersed bursaries for this financial year.
Okay.
I've not, because there is a question. I was trying to link questions that are related. That's to note. My sister senator had indicated that there was something that was circulating in social media. If you check that video to your left, you'll be able to see a very nice building marked ECD constructed by the county government of Bomet. So I don't think that person was fair to us. And even the way that school was depicted, the other schools that have been supported by CDF, very nice structures, but it's selected. That was not the right picture that was portrayed, and I think it was unfair. No. ACD, we have
Was it a primary class?
It was a primary class, but it was not even under use.
So it is condemned?
It's condemned. One that has been constructed in that center. And then statistic of 53,166. I didn't understand the question very well. Is it?
I can re-ask.
Yes.
what is the ECD need of Bomet County? You are supporting 53,166 learners. Is that the total amount of learners that need to be supported, or there are others that still require to be supported?
No, I think this is the total number of children that we have. Of course, we are working closely with the national government, the chiefs, the village managers, to make sure that we don't have any child that is left at home. Once the child reaches school-going age, all of them have to be moved to go to school.
So private ECDs in Bomet.
We do.
How many are they? How many learners are in the private ones? Are they include when you say 53?
53 now are in the public. Yeah, maybe total statistics, what you should capture includes the ones that are in private schools. I don't know whether we have the numbers. Yeah.
Or the percentage.
Yeah. So maybe that's what we need to capture, Chair. We have noted, so that we capture all the learners, even including the ones who are schooling in private schools. But we have around, how many private schools? Is it around 144? I think 145. I will confirm the number of private schools that we have in Bomet.
Chair, do you have entry fee for ECD learners? Because like in some counties, they pay like 3,000 for you to access ECD.
No, we don't have
impediment to learners joining ECD.
No, we don't have any entry fee. We don't charge them any fees.
Are we done with the first round?
Not yet. I will let my CC and CEO to assist me in answering some of these questions. I mean, some of the questions like support to Polytechnic. And then this budget that we've shown, like 79 shillings, and then the 1,102 shillings, that budget per child is per year. And then...
Say that again?
Yeah, there was a question whether this budget that for school feeding program and also support for the learning materials, we are broken down to the individual learners. So that is the approximate cost per year.
For food. For feeding.
For food and also the support that goes to the learning materials. Yes. For food, per child is 1,222.
Chair, is it food or milk?
Milk. Yeah, in fact, it's actually milk.
Is there any other food? I think that was the senator had asked you whether you are feeding them or you are just giving them milk.
We're giving them milk.
Senator Muma, it is not. There is no food.
There is school meals, yeah.
There is only school milk.
Also okay.
So why are you calling them meals?
And we had 65 million absorbed. We also had how much absorbed? Another 65 million absorbed. Yeah.
Yes.
So it is 65
Per year.
per year. Okay. So you can proceed with the other.
Okay.
So maybe my team can respond to these other questions. CC.
Madam Chair, allow me, because the questions I wanted to ask are relevant, so that we don't have to come back again to the same question within.
Okay, let me allow Senator Bomet and I'll allow Maru, maybe he has another one. Yeah.
Chair, just allow, I've just done my math.
Yeah.
65 million. Divide by, okay. No, I think if you divide by 1,222 comes to the 53,000 students. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I ask the questions that I have on this particular issue, I want to appreciate the committee for accommodating me in this session. And secondly, I couldn't make any opening remarks because of how the meeting started. All I wanted to clear is that we are 2.5 years into this session of the current tenure, and I am surprised that the governor has not understood the role of a senator who is elected to represent his people.
Don't take us there.
So I will talk on behalf of them, and dramatizing it is because of the wrong things which are being done. When you have facts, they speak for themselves. And so I want to dramatize the questions I want to ask now in the context of the responses that he has given us. And number two is that, Madam Chair, it is important to appreciate that we are asking this to help him to avoid appearing to answer to mistakes, but instead to report to the service delivery and performance to the people of Bomet. The question that was asked by Senator Muma has been answered to the extent that I just wanted a clarity in the answer that was given. If I heard the governor right, he said that out of the over 1,200 classrooms that he is expected to construct, he has done 400. Unless I heard him wrong. That is the question I wanted him to clarify. I am aware he has said that he will supply this committee with the list of those institutions, because when I do from the budgetary allocations against 2 million per classroom, we are looking at, for now, we are supposed to have had in this current financial year, or rather in the 2022-2023, we should have done around 50 classrooms. And I don't know whether that 50 classrooms are done, because if we were to do 50, we're looking at 2 classrooms per ward, because in our county we have got 25 wards. I have the benefit, Madam Chair, of now being a resident of Bomet to speak to some of the questions which were asked, such that I want the governor to clarify that it is not 400, because if it's 400, we are looking at 16 per ward, which I am sure are not there. That is question number one with regards to the ECD classrooms. I would be very happy, Madam Chair, again to hear the number which are pending, because when you look at the cumulative allocation in the financial year 2022-2023, 2023-2024, the total is 114 million, and which brings it down to around 57 classrooms again. And I would want to get that one. And number two, Madam Chair, is I would also like to know whether all these classrooms are constructed on parcels of land that are not private land, because I have had incidences where private owners of property are saying this particular ECD is constructed on my land and I have not been paid for. Are we investing public resources on private land? I would be very happy to hear that. And lastly,
if you look at the remarks, nearly all of them, that was the reason why the issue was pending. Now, we are in the year 2024-2025, which means all the disbursements which were supposed to be done in the last financial year have been completed by Treasury. So I was thinking, why did the governor then update us? Because he left us in the last financial year. There is no update on what happened after the money has been disbursed after the lapse of 2023-2024 financial year.
Thank you, Chair. We have not answered all the questions, and that is why I wanted to give a chance to my CC and CO to answer some of the questions, including the one for Senator Murango. But I want to confirm to this committee, I'm very clear in what I've said we have cumulatively around 400, maybe slightly higher, classrooms. And we'll give you the list. 400 classrooms. So I'm not wrong about that, unless the senator has other figures, but I have 400, slightly higher. So which, going by the records that I have, our objective of having at least one classroom, I still have to construct close to 800 classrooms to cover PP1 alone. And then we'll start another set of PP2, assuming that the numbers will remain another set of 1,000. Factored in the issue of pending. So that is why you can see a figure that is more than 100. So, but the amount that has been added on top is to take care of the other questions, including the one for Senator Baringo.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency, the chair of this committee. I'm going to respond on some of the issues that have been actually mentioned. Number one is whereby you talk about in the 2 million that were made for the classroom, what are the components? Because we have talked about construction of the ECD classroom. In that case, we are constructing the classroom, which is a standard classroom that can be able to hold up to a maximum of 50 or even 60 learners. In the classroom, the walls are here. We have the part that has been designated for the blackboard. We also have a toilet, which actually comprises 3 doors, which is meant for the boys. We have also for the girls and also for the teacher that is actually dealing on that one. And that value, again, when we talk about the 2 million, we have some areas whereby the soil is not stable. So the value actually sometimes go higher than that one. So that when you look at in the financial year 22-23, whereby the value that was indicated there, it is 75 million. Whereby in that case, we had actually budgeted we are going to construct 25 ECDs at an approximate cost of 2 million. That makes 50 million, covering on the pending bills that were made for the other financial year. And I can report to this committee that those ECDs has actually been constructed, that is the 25. In the financial year 23-24, whereby we had a budget of 85 million, and part of the budget was actually meant for the completion of the projects. In this case, yeah, the pending bills which we had, able to construct here 22 ECDs, which actually had up to the 25 that it is 2 by what, and actually comprising all what we have said. And from what actually you have actually that have been constructed, the school, the ward, and even the sub-county, and the number that has been constructed to date since the beginning of the devolution, we have all those ECDs, and even right now, that we're talking about maybe the construction of the maybe in some private land. I can report that one. We have actually the ECDs been constructed. Normally, we restrict to actually the land that has been owned by the county, the school after the registration. That is where we have the construction of the ECD centers. That is what I have.
Madam Chair, I asked that question. I wanted to just confirm that all the parcels have been purchased. I've got one example, because this is what I get from the people I represent. Sibayan ECD in Kabletunda Sotik Ward, is it built on private land or not?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Senator. The Sibayan, they brought the documentation and we are working on it. They brought and we had actually finished the engagement on them, so they were only awaiting the payment. And the payment, I think it is just still the last stages to be paid.
So is it built on private land or on public land?
Okay, from the the agreement that we have and the
Waziri,
sale of the land.
it's very simple.
So is it that you are in the process of buying it, or was it donated to the school, or what was that?
Okay, we have all the agreements, the sales agreement and the agreement, even the seller had already signed. So they're only waiting for the disbursement of the funds. And there is all other legal issues that have been actually done.
But Chair, I want to get this right. So the ECD is already constructed on that parcel of land. Because
Yes.
from the CC, you have already constructed an ECD of a certain parcel of land, because you said it's pending payment. So the payment has not been done because it's an illegality to invest public finances on any land before you buy it. And we had the same issue in Kirinyaga, where a borehole was done. The land was in the process of being bought, but then the owners decided they are not selling. So we have a boreholes, somebody's using the public money to use a borehole which is supposed to be serving the residents of Kirinyaga. So, Chair, we should know that what Senator is saying then is true, that the ECD has been built on a private land which has not been paid for.
And that's extremely dangerous, because you'll be manipulated, you will be threatened, and you might pay 10 times the cost of a very simple structure. Then ESCC will be there, because anything we capture from the Auditor General that we don't want to take care of, we throw it in there. And then you might say it is because the senator said it. It's some things are so
There is part of
straightforward.
the drama, Madam
Yeah.
Chair, and I would be very happy. Sorry, I'm intervening, because there are statistics that the governor has said he will supply. This is just one of the many. I would be very happy to get part of what the CC is referring to as documentation supplied to this committee, because I want to do the same for the others, so that we protect the abuse of public resources.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
kindly direct
that's
that we
what
get those
this.
documentation.
No, that's what this committee does. When we say you give us the list, you must verify that this is either owned, or you are still buying, or in the process. And anything that's in the process, the documents must be part of your report, CC. It is very important that we get that right. But what I'm telling you, Governor, is that there are some things you must avoid as governors, because there are also things that waste our time investigating. And that is when you hear us saying, let ESCC handle it. And it just complicates life for you for nothing. Okay, the next, you had something else, CC?
No, but just I want to follow up on that question so that can mitigate what were the challenges that made you not to complete the transfer from private land to public land and then you construct. What was the problem?
Maybe to assist slightly, because I know also the background of these issues. Rarely do we go out as county to negotiate with land sellers. Because even some of the requests that comes for these classrooms, especially for dispersals from primary schools, come from the community. And of course, there are so many demands that come. And some of them are very, very nitty. So what we normally tell them, go and do public participation. If you identify land, negotiate, have a committee, have minutes signed, and everything, and even transfers, we commit that we will pay. So we don't go per se looking for individuals to sell land to us, especially for dispersals, because for the main primary schools, they have land. But for dispersal is where we have a challenge. So it will be unfair to me and to that child traveling 3 kilometers to school if the community have identified land, they have negotiated, and we also send our valuer so that the price become, in the range of the market prices. So we rarely go constructing unless there is a valid agreement And that buyer has willingly submitted that piece of land, not necessarily to us, but to the community. Of course, that will be public land. And that is why what is supporting our support in terms of construction is that agreement. Partly.
Your discussion is okay.
Yes.
Except for the fact that it is not public land yet. It is not. You are building it before. Because how long does it take for you to talk with the Commission of Lands, Land Commission, for you to be given a transfer of the same piece of land?
A challenge.
If somebody demarcates for you as accountant, this happens in all counties, because most of the ECD centers which are in between schools, it's the community that decides we are going to do this. Sometimes the community just donates it. But where it has not been donated, you must get your documentation. Because if you don't have documentation, anything can happen.
And Madam Chair, in this one, this is over 5 years ago.
Let me give the background. We normally allocate 1 million for purchase of land award. So if you go to our budget, you'll see 25 million. So sometimes we sacrifice some of the awards to pay because the value of land is not the same. If you go to the upper side of Bomet, it's more expensive. The lower side, if you have 100,000, you can have a point.
Yeah, we are not on the value, we are not on the quantity.
Yeah.
What we are in is that is the process of acquisition and making sure that you finish the process before you construct anything.
And that is why I'm
because if it is 5 years old, how come these people are not willing to give you papers?
Chair,
Yeah.
appreciate my challenge. I have ECDs to purchase land. I have dispensaries to purchase land. I have only 25 million. So I will not be able to finish that even if I'm willing to pay. Others have to delay. But at the same time, yes.
I think the governor is trying to legalize an illegality. That we will not accept. Whatever you say, you are supposed to operate within the law. You are a professor. You know what the law says. In this instance, we are saying you did not follow the law. And 5 years down the road, you've not regularized that. So you can't defend to tell us to imagine in your footstep. You are the one who allocates that budget. Why do you not? How come you have a budget for an illegal bursary, but you can't increase that one for land? I think, Chair, we should be taken seriously on what we're saying. And Chair, it raises something else that I would want the committee to also follow up. Our type of devolved governance is cooperative and collaborative. I'm wondering why ECD spaces cannot be found in current schools, so that families are not planning for an ECD on the left and a primary school on the right. Because that family will have a child who needs to go to an ECD, a child who needs to go to the primary school. The way we grew up is that, well, we held the ears to go, there was no ECDs. But the natural thing is that you facilitate families to be able to go in a similar place. So I would want to know any intergovernmental conversations that are being had on the function of education to actually ensure that we do what is right.
Maybe I'll clarify. There are schools, primary schools, and all primary schools are entitled to an ECD class. But in between the classrooms, in the schools, there are some distances that are too long for these babies. So that is why they must have inter-school ECDs. The thing is, and I was a member of parliament before, even for any dispensary, I used to tell them, give me the documents and I'll put my money. You cannot put your money before you get your documentation, right? You cannot, because immediately you get the documents, the first thing, and that's why I'm saying 5 years is disturbing me a little bit, because you should have, Governor, as you came in, you should have said, any that has documentation, let's go to the Land Commission, and you'll get your titles in a week. This thing is very efficient these days. So that is still, that is very shaky. So I hope if you have a lot of them, that by the time you, please indicate first the ones that are pending and make it the job of your CEC lands to go to commission. and get this thing done. Because if it is not done, you are going to be in problems on that one only.
Mheshimiwa
Thank you.
Mwenyekiti.
I want us to move. Yeah.
Yes, tukiendelea Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, unajua sisi maseneta sisi sio wanasesere ama makaragosi tumekaa hapa. Gavana ameendelea vizuri sana, akasema anafaa kujenga madarasa ya chekechea 1200. Amefanya 400. Kusema ya kwamba kuna nafasi zingine ambazo hazina kesi ambayo angewekeza pesa ya umma ili aweze kumaliza hii shinda ambayo wako nayo hapa. Na pia kwa sababu kuna sehemu nyingine inaitwa Kisambei Simoti location Konoini. Pia kuna shinda kama hiyo ya kujenga madarasa kwa mashamba ambayo si ya umma, ni ya watu binafsi. Sasa ningetaka niulize gavana, ni haraka gani ambayo ulikuwa nayo sasa mpaka ujenge shule ya chekechea kwa shamba ambayo hujamalizana shughuli ya manunuzi, na kuna nafasi zingine umejenga kwa sababu bado hujajenga darasa 800. Kwa hivyo hata ukijaribu kuelezea gavana itakuwa ni ngumu. Huwa nasema na tunasema kule kwetu, ukipewa kazi ya kuelezea mbwa kwamba asali ni tamu kushinda mfupa, utachukua miaka mingi sana na mbwa hataelewa. Kwa hivyo usijaribu kutueleza hapa ni kama mbwa sisi tuko hapa mpaka tufuate sheria. Ni ngumu sisi tutaelewa hiyo mambo yako gavana. Ni vizuri waangalie venye mbiwa na Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, tumalize manunuzi ndo tuwekeze pesa ya umma. Hiyo ni sheria.
Thank you, Senator. Asante sana. Can you finish the other comments?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think the next one was about the allocation of the vocational training, 1 million, which was meant 1 billion per ward, whereby the question was how much on average is being allocated to students. In this case, we have the 12.5 million that we actually allocated for the full scholarship, whereby in this case we are actually covering the school fees, that is the tuition fee, and also the examination, and the allocation actually depends on the fees structure of each and every vocational training. We have some vocational training which are actually boarding, and then we have some which are actually their day schools. So in that one, up to a maximum of 35,000 to the learner. On the bursary side, we are giving a minimum of 5,000 to every learner in the vocational. Allow me to actually give to our CEO to actually mention on the feeding, whereby you are told how might the consumption of the learner by day or on daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Chair, for that. Allow me to begin and appreciate the fact that we're having PP1, PP2, and to add on what was said by the Governor, much as in we are building one classroom, probably covering only PP1, the schools we are moving into construct, Chair, you will realize that they are at least having an existing classroom. So before we move in, there could be that structure which may not be permanent. So we do one, and they can be using the other non-permanent structure meanwhile. But once we are done constructing the permanent buildings in all the others, at least you can come back and, of course, build another classroom, a second classroom, because the PP2 need as well. Secondly, the issue of land and private land that has been mentioned here, I know is actually a contentious issue. But allow me to assure this committee that at the moment, and even the classrooms that we are constructing now, the 50, we have ensured that land has actually been bought. This we have always done with the area MCS, so that they give us land that has been bought, so that these issues of maybe landowners complaining that they have not been paid does not arise. We will work around the clock to ensure that any other place that we'll move into construct is land that has actually been handed over to the government. And the issue that, of course, pertaining land, and I want to say we have made progress, much as in we are not maybe housing the budget, we have always done it to the Department of Lands. And last week we were having one negotiation involving an ECD which was constructed, but land has not been paid. And I'm happy I'm making progress, and it's actually under when payment will be made. Allow me, Chair, to react to the issue that was asked about the school feeding program, which is actually the school milk. We have indicated that from the budget of 65 million per year, and actually 1,222 per child, we are giving milk a packet on Tuesday and Thursday, that's twice a week. And going actually with that figure of 1222, that's 1,000. KCC, we are sourcing our milk from KCC, and they're giving us a packet at 27 shillings. That's the 200 mils packet. In a year, a child will consume 45 packets. When you divide by 3 terms on average, 15 packets per term. When you divide by, of course, the number of consumptions, you'll realize that will cover only about 7 weeks. In essence, I'm saying probably maybe it may not be adequate, and you may find a week that we are not having milk because of the budget constraints. That's why we're having a budget of 65. So that is what we do as far as the school feeding program is concerned. And I'm happy to appreciate the fact that Governor has made it clear on the impact that is on the nutrition aspect, the enrollment, as well as punctuality. Thank you.
Madam Chair, just to follow up.
Maybe
question,
before you proceed, let's deal with this nutrition issue of twice a week.
Yes, Chair.
You only give twice a week.
Yeah, we
and
give
you
one.
don't give a meal.
We don't give a meal. We give a packet of milk on Tuesday.
So in Bomet, you finish ECD at noon, so children can run away and go home.
Well, that is
For
as per
meals.
the program, Chair.
Yeah, we need to
The
think
parents-
seriously because, Governor, if you are concentrating on bursaries and you are making it so uncomfortable to run what was devolved, I'm very worried. And I thought you are the chair of education in COG. You are not? Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Very many residents of Bomet are following these proceedings, and in the course of the questions regarding investment or rather misappropriation of public funds in private properties, I've received a long list. Itibet ECD in Boita Ward is built on private property. Kisabei Simoti ECD in Mogogoshek in Konoin is built on private property. Kapche Moino ECD is built on private property. Kimugul ECD, Matuta ECD, Kapsimotwa ECD, all these are in Sotik sub-county. All are built in private property. Now, Madam Chair, so that we help even the owners of these properties, because a number of them, like this one of Kisabe, they are saying it's also, the owners are claiming that they've never been paid for the last 5 years. So that we help these people and we help the resources that are being abused not to be abused further. As the governor and his team supplies us with that schedule, I want also to say that we get this documentation so that we follow up to make sure that these owners are paid, because money could have been lost along the way. These are just, they are 7, and this is just within 10 minutes or so. We do not know how many others have been done in private property. So it is not dramatizing any further, Governor. These are facts. Number 2, the CEO has given us a breakdown with regards to the feeding program. And this is what Senator Muma has. Expenditure per child is coming to 1,222. And from the report you've received, the milk is supplied Tuesday and Thursday. What I'm getting, Madam Chair, this is just for information, and probably this I'm sure will be responded to also, that in between January and March this year, Madam Chair, the learners have received milk only 5 times. What happens, for example, in situations where we are talking about Tuesday and Thursday for the entirety of the beginning of the year?
Sorry, Senator.
Yes.
For how long? Are you talking 5 times?
Yes. No. I've just received, this is between January and March 2025. Learners received milk only 5 times for the whole term. So I would be very happy to hear from Daktari what becomes of
What
the
happens
resources.
in this,
Yes,
3 months,
and lastly, maybe if there is also a monitoring and evaluation sort of a tool to ensure that, these monies which are budgeted for this program are accounted for. Because he's told us that these ones are sourced from KCC. Would be very happy to even get an arrangement, sort of a contract, if it's existing between the county government and the supplier, to know that our resources, 65 million per financial year, has indeed been put into good use, notwithstanding the fact that we are worried also to the extent that it's not a feeding program, it's milk supply program for the children. Yeah, thank you.
CEO,
Yes, Chair. Thank you.
can you clarify that one of 5 times
Thank you.
in
Thank
3
you.
months?
Well, I want to say it will not be true to say that they have only been supplied 5 times. I'm saying this because the deliveries we have had, which is usually done by border riders, has actually been done 5 times. In so doing, the consumptions that we normally do is actually 2 consumptions. That is covers a week. And going as per that, that will mean we have already done deliveries 5 times. And if you look at the consumptions in that case, we expect a consumption of actually 10. And in that case, if we talk of 10, then that is to mean the number of times that it has actually been brought is more than
Maybe
the number that has
it
been
just
mentioned.
come out clearly.
Yes,
The deliveries are 5 times.
5 times. And we usually deliver 2 consumptions.
Deliveries from KCC is 5
Yes,
times.
5 times. And we usually deliver for 2 consumptions. In total, that is to mean 10 times.
10
not,
times.
And not 5.
Is it fresh or long life milk?
It is long life. Yes,
So they are getting long life. So you are saying 10 times.
yes,
10 times divided by 2 is 5 weeks.
yes. It's actually, it has covered for 10 times, that is 5 weeks covered.
So 5 weeks out of how many weeks?
In the term that we have just ended, I need to confirm, Chair, but I wanted to say it is not 5 times, as it said.
So you have given us what 5 times means to you, which is what maybe the person sending the information is saying, is that there's only the border was only come 5 times.
Yes.
Which will corroborate what the senator has just received. So we are now going back to 5 times means 10 times.
Yes.
Drinking of milk 10 times.
And the reason why...
Divided by 2 gives us 5 weeks.
Yes,
So I'm asking you, between January and March, the term that has just ended,
yes.
is it 5 weeks or more?
It is more, Chair, and allow me to say as to why we're having less. Like I said, you're supposed to have given them covering 7 weeks. The less weeks, which are actually 2, was occasioned by, again, delay in disbursement of actually funds to KCC. And there's a time that we are not able to agree because normally they expect us to do an upfront payment. And in that case, they were expecting us to make a payment, and there was that delay. Though they had actually given us some bit of it, but they stalled for some time. And that is why we didn't manage to give...
Let's not go the details. It is correct. It is correct. That it is 5, that the complaint from this person is very correct, that it is 5 times only, but for you, it is not 5 times, it is 5 times 2, which makes some time. But even that 5 weeks is not correct because most schools were in school not for 7 weeks, they were in school for 9 weeks. I don't know how in Bomet you can have a first term of 7 weeks when most schools are at 9 weeks in first term. January, February, March.
Chair, I was giving an approximate on average from the figure that I gave. I divided by 3.
You know you are a CEO and you are also a doctor.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, as a chief officer, you cannot talk of approximation. Yeah, this doctor is no classrooms because I am one of them. You know classes. That there is no way first term is 7 weeks. And don't run away from that fact because it means there is an outcry on the ground that you as CEO should be able to deal with. I am happy that the border did not steal the milk because I thought maybe you are talking of milk that was stolen by border and you are not aware as a CEO. Now that you are aware, you are telling us that you have actually fed children for 5 weeks in a budget of 9 weeks. It is the third term that could be shorter because of KCSE that gives everybody 2 weeks holiday, 2 months holiday. But you must have this at your fingertips. We really don't expect you to look for those figures. Should be. I was happy when you said, yes, it's 5 as far as the border is concerned. But you should know for yourself that you actually was less at this stage. And then that brings me.
Madam Chair, just.
Sorry, so that you mentioned. Because
there is another patriotic Kenyan saying, here in my school, Ainapkoi ECDE Center, we have received one in every week.
Reading messages. It's helping you. I hope it is helping you. CEO.
Yes.
I hope this information is helping you. Because
I'm taking note. However, you allow me to also say, much as we are getting feedback, and I think where we can get good feedback is the teachers, because we are having somebody reporting who does not know what is going on in the school setting.
But that person has pointed out that you did not feed for the term. And we are all agreeing that there is a problem there. The reason we are raising this is so that you go down and investigate, because we don't want to visit your schools and they tell us worse situations that they are going through. If we came to the ground and they tell us we have received only once, we will believe that teacher when we reach the school. And it's going to have repercussions on the governor. Help your governor by being factual and by having the real data, real figures yourself. Don't defend any situation that doesn't seem to be correct. Because if you continue defending, why are you defending? And you know very well that you even reduced the widths from 9 to 5. So go and look at that and get that. I don't think we need to belabor that one any further. What was
Chair,
the other
just
one?
to remind them also that they have shown 100% absorption of that budget line in the last 2 financial years. So if it turns out that they had budgeted for twice a week, have absorbed 100%, but on the ground we are being told it was less than that, you would actually have lied to the committee. So take what Chair is saying very seriously.
Noted, Chair. Allow me to say and assure this committee that going forward and even the time that we are coming, we already have KCC having been paid. So there will be that seamless actually supply of milk. And I want to maybe still say, probably maybe when you talk about 100, and I made it clear when I was actually bringing this out that the budget that we're giving of 65 million, when you work it out, still we are not able to cover all the weeks of the term. But I've noted what has been said by the members, and I think it will help us going forward to ensure that the program runs smoothly.
Chair, I think we have, if you allow me, I'll just say one thing. You know, I would like to know also the content, how many mls are in these packets of milk?
200.
200, because, and I would also like to comment on something, because the CEO saying that the delay in the disbursement by Treasury is the one which made them not supply milk. I am wondering, these are kids. What is happening to the local revenue that you are collecting? You cannot use it to buy the milk for the kids, 200 meals, then you cover it up after the disbursement? Thank you, Chair.
Madam Chair, one last.
You are cutting it, Governor?
Yes.
Yes.
Priorities are the concern of this committee. That
Madam Chair, one last
you are able to abscond paying for milk and you are paying for bursary because of politics. It's a very dangerous trend. Yes.
Yes, I wanted to request you to direct the governor to give us the agreement that is signed between the county government of Bomet and Kenya Cooperative Creameries, KCC. Number one. Number two, Madam Chair, I want to confirm from the governor whether we do have a county policy on this milk feeding program. If there is any such policy, I would also be happy to get it.
Okay.
Chair, we supply.
The policy is there.
The policy is there.
Yeah.
The agreement between us and the KCC is there.
Yeah.
So we'll supply.
And by the way, in the Bill of Rights, apart from the right to education, I think 53, 1A, yeah, the Bill of Rights states clearly the right to education for everybody.
Yeah.
The second one is talking of the right to nutrition and food. I don't know why in Bomet, with that lush green, we call you the bathroom of God, you are not able to serve lunch. You are telling a baby to go home after without even milk on Monday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Nothing completely. And then we need to rethink and be innovative, Governor, whether you should be buying, how you should be buying the kind of food that you want to feed your children. Leave the innovation to yourselves, but you have enough food to be able to feed. Governors have come here and told us they are serving lunch to their children. But when you are not serving lunch, and you are not even giving milk every week, and yet we are paying for something bursary that is illegal, then we are going to do more illegal things. Thank you. Have you finished?
Okay.
You
Thank
finished?
you, Chair. On that issue of about the feeding again, we have also the supplement from the parents, so that they actually give them porridge also. The parents are chipping in to give porridge, because when you look at the budget of 65 million, it is not able to feed throughout the week, to provide that milk throughout the week. So we also have the parents who have chipped in also to provide the porridge. Thank you.
I would expect so, because I don't think they of Wimby in Bomet, and that's why I was going to do the illegal and not fully covering the legal things of Schedule 4. Schedule 4 is what we want the governors to do. Senator Muma.
Thank you, Chair. And this is a question, Chair, I would want as a committee to interrogate with other counties as well. What does ECD infrastructure look like? Because you've talked about classrooms, but from what I know, infrastructure, but it would seem your construction is about a structure, a classroom. So ECD children in Bomet do not have swings, place to play with. You are not investing in that. I would want to know that. Chair, another one I would want to ask that it's absolutely important, the latrines for those kids. Are latrines the best infrastructure for children of that age? Should we be doing pit latrines for children in ECDs? Again, a question I'm throwing out, Chair, for us to interrogate. Finally, I have not seen in your budget the statutory remittances. I can't see any budget line on your isolating statutory deductions for staff. We are going to get into a serious crisis in this country, Chair, because civil servants, public servants, deductions are actually being squandered, both at national and county levels, and this is a serious issue of insecurity in terms of the future of public servants in this country.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe starting from Senator Murango, there is something that he asked about delays in disbursement. And this majorly touches on the financial year 2023-2024, which is true, Chair, that we were a bit slow in the financial year 2023-2024 as counties. Because I will give you an example. Disbursement for January, February, March, April was received in May. Those are 5 months. And you expect to pay your constructors, to purchase medicine, and so forth. So we are a bit slow. By the time we are processing in June, and even the disbursement for June, I think it came timely at the end of the month. So, but when you have delays for 5 months, and you expect me to deliver on these projects, it becomes a challenge to me and to the rest of the governors. Of course, we have had issues in the current financial year, but rarely does it go beyond 2-3 months in these delays. So we are still struggling, and hopefully before the end of the financial year, we'll be able to complete what is expected of us. And then my sister senator has asked about what kind of infrastructure we should be having for ECDs. And I agree with her that probably we need to have a standardized structures designed, informed by what we know about the young child. I agree, because not every building is suitable for a young learner. So maybe as Council of Governors, we should sit down and agree with the experts also, guidance of the Ministry of Education and experts that we have within the country, so that we have a standardized environment for young learners. For those of us who are coming from rural areas,
Chair, just a minute. Why are you throwing it to the Council of Governors? Have you seen the ECD facilities in Moranga, for instance? They don't need permission of COG to do that. That is about your policy as Bomet.
and that's why I'm saying we need to standardize, because I think even for classrooms,
But in the last Senate,
yes,
standardization was discussed. I was still in the same Committee of Education. Standardization was discussed, and there was a model classroom and model desks. It was, in fact, not desks. I hope they are not, yours are not sitting on desks.
No.
They are sitting on tables.
There are chairs and then we have the tables.
They are tables and their chairs.
Yeah.
And I thought the council at that time said they were standardizing so that they have a room that also has some play area. Because the problem is if you don't have play area for ECD children, what are we talking about?
Chair, I agree, but still if you move across the 47 counties, I think we still have a challenge. But I agree, we need a conducive environment for young learners. And then when it comes to other amenities that needs to support that environment, especially those of us from rural areas, it might be a challenge, because even when we talk of pit latrine, for some of the areas, it's a luxury for some, especially from where they come, their homes. So I don't know the alternative for
You know,
pit
Governor,
latrines.
it is so
Yes.
sad that we are now going how many years since devolution? And toilets are a right. It's a facility that is health oriented. No governor should tell us that there is a place that is too rural to have toilets.
Chair,
But Madam Chair,
I think even for some areas, they're
Madam
even
Chair,
coming under trees, Chair.
Madam Chair, I like what Governor is saying because it's being honest and truthful. The reality on the ground. He's being truthful
Right.
because
In fact, even for some of my ECDs, we have asked churches to give us their buildings. So Sundays is a church, Monday to Friday a classroom. So that tells you,
Governor,
But,
you have-
but let's tell you with finality that we are not going to expect governors to continue doing the illegal, doing things they have not been mandated to do in Schedule 4, and then giving us an excuse that they are begging for facilities from elsewhere. We have asked you from your own education budget. You are spending a lot of money on bursaries that are not yours, instead of building toilets and classrooms for your ECD classes. So you cannot have that as an excuse. That is an excuse we don't, and we support the comptroller of budget not to approve a single cent for bursaries until governors do the right thing. So please don't take us to churches again. Get out of churches and build the classrooms. The other illegal thing that is going on in Bomet, which must be stopped, is the idea of building one PP1 and not building PP2. You must have PP2. It would have been better for you to tell us that I'm doing with these 2 million, I'm building one permanent building and one structure of 50,000 shillings for PP2. But you must have the two classes. Otherwise, you are absconding from your own duty and you are doing things that are not, and you are not doing the right thing on what has been given to you. It's better to have structures that are not permanent. The more rural you are, have structures that are not permanent to begin with, but we must see PP1 and PP2. Of course, we are coming to Bomet.
yeah, and you'll be able to see and appreciate what we've been able. But we have to be realistic and also be fair to us as governors, because if unfair demands are given to us, because if I have to construct 1,200 classrooms times 2, I require 2.4 billion to 3 billion. That is 50% of my budget, which is unrealistic. That's why I'm saying we have to appreciate what we've been able to do and the challenges also that we have. I was just responding to my sister senator that with light rain, if we've been able to construct, that is the best that we can do at the moment. As Chair is proposing, we can even have a structure of 50,000. I will not have a problem with that. But at the same time, I will also be asking myself as a teacher, will it be a safe structure? Because that will be a party all-round structure. Will it be safe for these learners? And that's why we have to be realistic. We have a challenge, and I expect you as the Senate to assist us. Probably we now think beyond the resources that we have. How can we fund so that we move faster? Because if I have 50 classrooms by financial year, how long will it take me to construct 800 classrooms? That is still, it will take me several years. And that's why it is my problem, it is our problem, it is the problem of our country that we need to sort out. And that's why, apart from clarifying issues, there are things also that we need to pick and see how you can assist me as the Governor of Bomet so that I can move faster.
Thank you, Governor. I hope you are taking note of what we are saying so that we are not going in circles. Yeah, we have given you very good suggestions. Tell us, there is an expenditure called ancillary education support. You budgeted 15 million in the year 2022, 2023, and spent 11 million. What was it? What was that expenditure?
Let me ask my CC to respond to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair.
Chair, they also need to respond to the other questions that I asked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want that to take that one in relation to, is this just a classroom? This 2 million structure, is it just a normal standard classroom, or you have play areas, do you have equipment, do you have?
Okay.
So maybe before she responds to that, I can respond to this one because it may not be actually under education. Statutory deductions are normally done centrally. All our employees and the budget is within the Department of Administration. So teachers, governor, everybody, health workers are paid through one budget that we have within the Department of Administration.
But you have remitted, Bomet has remitted all statutory.
We have remitted.
So you're up to date, eh?
We are up to date.
Kindly share with us.
Madam Chair, sorry, the information I have, because this is important, I'm a friend to the committee, and it will be very wrong for me to keep quiet when certain information might need clarification by submission of relevant proof documents. Because what I have is that the county government stopped remittances of pension after the implementation of the increment to comply with the SRC directive. The pension is what is paid to reflect as if it is a salary increment for the ECDE teachers. To discount this statement, I will be asking Madam Chair to direct that the governor give us, whether it's from the Department of Administration, information in form of evidence as to the remittances of these ECD teachers, notwithstanding the fact that it's being handled by a different department.
Thank you, Senator. I think that's what Senator Moma wanted. He wanted the list to come to the committee.
Yeah, and I can confirm to you, Chair, that we have done that.
Yeah.
And I don't want rumors to be brought to this committee. And that's what
You are not the chair of the committee, eh?
They are the ones to
You are
verify.
not the chair of the committee.
Yes.
You can only take what I give you, but you don't.
We'll supply you with that
I will
information.
tell you when there is rumor and when there is truth. But I've told you that let's get that data and let's get the information. Yep. So what is auxiliary? What is this auxiliary education support, and what is this cost of 2 million going for?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. For the cost of the 2 million, what Senator Moma has just asked, we have said the 2 million is actually meant for the construction. We have not provided the playing items that are meant for the learners, mainly because of the budgetary constraint. The 2 million will not be able to accommodate the other implements that are used for.
So what is the cost of a classroom in Bomet?
Okay, the cost of the classroom and the toilet from the big, and I've said that the value actually sometimes even go higher than that.